What's good, beautiful people? You know what it is. Episode 21 of the Unbiased Podcast. It's your host, D-Man Spot, here with my crew, King Jones, May 5K, Shad DiBiase, the Virgin Dollar Man. And today we have the young, beautiful entrepreneurs, Leanna Braun, Erin Holland. She is Inc. and Grandmeres Touch. So young ladies, before I ask specific questions about your business, why you started it, why you do it, can we get a little background drop on why you started things, who you are? Who is Leanna Braun?
Leanna is the founder of She Is Incorporated, which has been up and moving for a year now. A mom of two from Annapolis Woods, located in Annapolis, Maryland, and just out here reaching out to teen moms, supporting them and giving them the help and love and attention that they need.
Oh yeah, this gonna be a good one.
Only people from Annapolis tell you where they from. Like
you got to.
Niggas just shit. I'm from Annapolis Woods.
I think that's a part of the reason why I always be saying from Anne Arundel County. I'm like, I gotta see where we from. We trying to go worldwide. But we proud. This is where we are. That's where we at.
It is what it is.
Young lady, Miss Holland, can you please do the same thing that Leanna just did?
My name is Erin Holland. I am the founder of Grandmeres Touch, a nonprofit organization based here in Annapolis for youth ages 8 to 18. I'm born and raised in Annapolis, and I grew up in Newtown 20.
Okay. Since both of you, since Jones pointed it out and you both said it, I'll start with this. Before we get into your business and your corporations, can you tell us about Newtown 20 and Annapolis Woods? Young ladies that's coming from that, your background, what y'all seen coming up, how that shaped you wanting to be entrepreneurs, changing your situation where you're from. Leanna, we start with you.
That's a good question, but
I mean, they both pointed out the hoods, Jones said Annapolis people love doing, so you gotta tell them why you love doing it.
Yeah, your experience in your neighborhood, where you come from.
Yeah.
Well, being in Annapolis was, we went through some hardships. My mom had 7 kids. I was the oldest, and she ran the streets. My mother left when I was 10, so everyone that was knew that I was raising my siblings because she wasn't home. She wasn't consistent. Really went through it, having no lights sometimes, no food sometimes. Really went through some struggles and seen some things, and wanted to make a difference. And that I have children, I want to be better for my children. So turning struggles into something.
That's amazing.
That's all.
Erin, anything you can say different about being from 20?
So growing up in Newtown, my mom was a single parent. It was 4 of us. My dad really wasn't in the household. My mom, she was on drugs. My sister, she's older than me, at 16 years old. I see her had her first kid. My older brother, he was in and out of jail all the time. And so after I got out of high school, I left from Annapolis and I moved down to Georgia, and I went down to college to go to Georgia. And the only reason why I even left is because my grandmother passed away and I needed a new scenery and I needed something, fresh. Because I felt like, because I was, as a young teenager, girl, I was getting into a lot of trouble. Like I was even locked up every other weekend or stealing cars and all that. So I needed something fresh, something new. So after I got out of school and I did go to college, I felt that it was important to come back to where I was and show that you can make it out, even though because I had so many people say that, you're going to be just like your sister and have a young kid at an age, or you're going to be back and forth in jail just like your brother. So I thought it was important to come back to my community and say, like, I'm a proof of this is what can happen. Even though you come from a low income area and you come from, the hood, you can still make positive things out. And I wanted to be that role model. And so that's why I thought it was so important to come back, because so many people, when they make it out of the situation, they never look back and they never turn around and say, hey, look, this is where I came from. So I thought that was very important to come back.
You don't know the clip of this one.
That's
the process. Shit, yeah. I wanted to ask a question about something you said, and you said some other shit, and maybe we could get that one.
That's right, the riches.
No, that's amazing. Y'all both went to Annapolis Middle?
Yes. I started off Georgetown East.
Dang. Y'all made it this far, y'all should be proud of it.
So I don't know nothing about none of those schools, but that's like the other side. As small as this town is, that's the other side of Annapolis to me. I'm a little elementary kid, a base kid.
Okay.
I don't think like nobody better than nobody, but I ain't gonna lie. Growing up was like, niggas in Annapolis Middle, they fucked up.
I ain't know. I was jealous. I seen like all the like cool people went to Annapolis Middle at first. Like 6th grade.
You went mates with us?
Yeah, I was debates.
I don't think like that.
I said before. I'm talking about before we got there. Nigga, like in like elementary school, when I was looking forward to it. The older people, you know what I mean? Like, either way though, but that's
I've been thinking too much.
When you in like 5th grade, you like, damn, I'm going base next year, but such and such is going Annapolis Middle, you know what I mean?
Right. I want.
They was fucked
They
up.
was
They
like, they was dirty.
So that's what y'all said. Rumors was over there too. He was dirty too.
Yeah,
So, listen,
dirty.
and literally 3 miles apart, dirty motherfuckers living in Go middle school. Because literally, the school is walking distance.
Guess what? And everybody coming to the one high school.
Exactly.
Right.
That's hilarious.
But you know, that was crazy because that's all we looked forward to. That's all we had. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
like just how they just named their neighborhoods. Like, this is our neighborhood. It's not. But we lived there and we've been there so much that
If a motherfucker did a background research, I'm sure like half of the city has Annapolis middle-based babies. Like motherfucker knocked up or got a baby by the motherfucker that went to the other school. It's dirty motherfuckers. I guarantee you. I wouldn't know that, but I'm telling you. But I want to speak on something you said. Well, that's something wild again.
no, actually that wasn't funny. Hey, it just made me chuckle. Hey, Buzz, when I heard it, I just smiled like, yo, Buzz is a good dude, man.
I just smile on the inside.
3 of the motherfuckers. Back to the ladies, man. Fuck these ladies. You said you stepped away from Annapolis for a minute, and then you came back. What did you see anything while you was away that made you feel like where you was from was different and made you be like, man, I gotta go back home and take? Or it was just when you left, you knew that's what you always wanted to do, was to come back and change shit around here?
I knew, because when I was in college, I always knew that I wanted to come back, because when I was in college and I was doing volunteer work, I would come and I would volunteer at troubled teens, group homes, and all of that. So I said once I got out of school, I was going to come back and everything that I was learning and being in a different culture, because it's Southern hospitality in Georgia. So I was going to come back and use what I was applying there in Georgia and come and bring that back down here to Annapolis. So I always knew, like, I'm not staying here forever, and I think it was really good for me to get that experience to go there and be able to come back and apply it here.
Respectfully.
I got a question. How important is it to tell people your story?
Very important.
Very important, because the more I tell my story, the more I not only heal myself, but I heal other people as well, and you have more people to come and feel okay with telling their story. So any opportunity and any chance that I get, I tell my story. I'll go into another deeper when we get into deeper, a tragic incident that happened to me in 2018 where it stopped me from telling my story. But once I got out of that, the more I told it, the more I was helping myself, the more, I wanted to, people would come to me, and it just helped me. When I think that I'm helping other people, it's more helping me too as well to grow as a person, because I don't know everything.
And self-therapy.
To save your lives.
Yes.
To save your lives.
At what age did you realize the shit that we all go through isn't normal?
Good question.
I learned that
Double question. I want you to answer that too.
I learned it at an early age.
Early, I was gonna say young.
Because I had to grow up faster than what I was, because even though, I didn't have my dad in my life, and my mom, she was there, but she wasn't there because she was so focused on her addiction. So I had to grow up so fast, but I also see my brother, he was in the streets, so that taught me a lot. And then my sister, she was older than me, so she had to be a parent too. So I learned so many things at a young age. So I would say like 11, 12 years old.
That's
Same with you?
Younger.
She just told me about.
My mom left when I was 10.
She was 10.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, and raising 6 other kids, I'm the oldest. I'm 27, my mom's youngest is 15. So we were all like back to back.
I got.
That's what I said.
But
I know you, but
it's interesting for me because again, I want to kind of think back to that time period. Like, what do y'all attribute it to where we can obviously see a lot of our friends, people we grew up with in these neighborhoods, kind of became products of that environment, kind of followed in those footsteps of those people that they saw that might have addictions or be in the streets or whatever. And like, for instance, like I said, from my personal experience, for me that thing was like the Boys and Girls Club, like going, and at first I started going there just to, play sports, play pool, whatever, but then getting involved in programs like, Keystone Club and whatever, that's the thing that kind of took me away from that environment. Like, what do y'all attribute that to? What was that thing that made you say, I'm gonna go a different route as opposed to being sucked up in that street life? Eva,
I know we keep saying it, y'all know we speak first.
For me, I don't know, I just felt like, because I lived through the teenage experience, it's once you become a mother, that's it. It's never like a temporary thing. That's for life. Mm-hmm. So I feel like when I had my son at 17, I had to go through these struggles individually. My father went to prison when I was 6 months. He's still there. I'm 27. My mother left when I was 10, and my two father figures, they both died a year apart. So it's always just been just me, and in the midst of that, raising 2 kids that are 2 years apart by 2 different fathers. You know, tragic stuff, but that is a part of the generational curse. My mother had 7 kids by 3 different men. I already have 2, and I'm not, you know, shaming that, but that's just how life works.
Speaking truth.
Yeah.
She might be alright though.
Yeah, that's a good ratio.
That's good.
That's a good ratio.
I ain't gonna talk about my mother.
She watching, you better not.
You just did.
But again, it's the reality of
No, it's real though. It's real. It's shit
and
happens.
like she said, it's nothing to shame. And I was, you know what I mean, growing up, you'd be embarrassed by shit like that.
And it's like,
But it's normal.
I don't think you realize it until you get older.
But a lot of people have those same, you know, type of environments.
when I graduated, it was only, our class was like 365 students. It was 3 of us pregnant. I was the one that was, I was 9 months. My son came 2 weeks after I walked the stage. I
You
was
walked
huge.
that stage though.
I was ready to say,
You walked that
I ain't
stage.
nothing else, I walked that
You
stage.
finished the fucking job at the end of the day. And like you said, it ain't nothing shameful
That
about
was
it.
a starting.
Yeah, no, listen, I get it. We're gonna get into all of that. But no, like he said, I don't see it as shameful because I think we see it as shameful when we're young. But when you get older and you realize as an adult, man, people go through shit. If you still survive, that's your character. All that shit makes you who you are, especially if you get through it. Like you said, I want to get more into. I asked both of you if you don't mind saying. You said 17. When did you become a mother? At what age?
I don't have any kids.
Oh, okay. I thought. Oh no. So you said you have an older brother.
Yes, and older sister.
Got you. My fault. I thought you was mentioning kids. So I'll ask you, becoming a young mom, how did that shift? Because obviously, that doesn't mean you can't go to college and do everything. But you become a mom at 17, you have a baby 2 weeks, walk across the stage. What that do to your mental going forward? Like obviously you created all these things down the road. But that time frame of going through that and you see all your other friends going to college, did that crush you a little bit?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because everything around you changes once you become not even just a parent, but a teen parent. Your friends are going to beach week, they're doing this, they're going to prom. I didn't even go to prom. Because the ultimatum for me was, well look, we can do your baby shower, we'll put you on a baby shower or your prom stuff. So what was more important at that time? You know, and that's going back to why I do what I do with my organization, like this quarantine prom stuff. That's me living in the moments I never had, but giving it to other people.
Right.
So I think with our organization, and for both of us, we lived through experiences that we probably missed or want to give to people in a better way. I remember being like, and back to the question you just asked, being like a 9 or 8-year-old child, how do you wake up stressed and depressed every day at 9, 10? You know what I mean? Because you know your mom's deal is in and out your apartment every day. You know what I'm saying? The same dude that's giving you $2 to go to the goodie bus, but that's the same money my mother just gave you. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember stuff. I remember the smoke crack smelling through the house. You know what I'm saying? I remember the house being on fire, the trash can on fire. It's just stuff where and my son's 9. So I look at him, he's about to be 10. I don't want my son to be in that limelight of depression or stress or what I've been through at that age because of what my mother put me through. So everything she didn't give to me, I swear to you, I give to my kids. I do my best.
That's heavy. That's real though. That's a lot of fucking perseverance. Piggybacking off that, I know you mentioned your mom's struggles with that. Is there moments that you feel like similar to what she said, a certain shit that just stick in your brain that you like, I ain't gonna never put the kids I care about, because I know we'll get into like what your organization do for young kids, but like I know you look at yourself as a mentor, as a mother figure to the people that you help out. So is it things from your youth at a certain age that you realize, like certain, I know he kind of asked that question too, but like when you realize things, but like anything that just stood out in moments?
Absolutely. I've always said, and one reason why I started the nonprofit, I wanted to be the person that I needed growing up. I didn't have anyone in the community come in saying, hey, you need to go to school, hey, you need to go to college. It was something that I had to instill in myself. And my mom, she never really, like I love her to death, but she wasn't that parent to say, hey, you need to go to school or don't talk to boys or don't do that. And I had my older sister, but then when she had a baby at 16 years old and I seen the struggles that she went through, she had to be a mom. She couldn't go out with her friends. She couldn't. So that made me, going back to what your question was, when did you start to feel like that you wanted to be different? When I seen that my sister, the struggles that she went through, and I seen the struggles that my brother went through, and everyone was always saying that we were the black sheep of the family. I was so determined to be different and to prove different and come back and say, look what I did, and this is what I'm doing, and this is how I did it.
Talk your shit.
And that's what I did, and that's what made me just like, listen, I need a break from Annapolis, but I'm coming back. And I'm coming back with a vengeance, and I'm gonna come back and say, this is what I'm doing. So, absolutely.
It's crazy. It motivates some people, and some people just fall into line with what
Absolutely.
people say about them. So it's
strong
a very
personality.
difficult
Right.
choice, especially when it comes from your family or friends, and you just don't think you could branch out and make something out of yourself. So.
And I would say that mentality is like the minority around here. Because I say most people around here, like Nate said, fall in line.
Yeah.
If your family did that shit, if your homies doing that shit, you in the neighborhood,
Even
or like you
even
doing that
today,
shit.
nigga, we in our 30s, grown people still
No,
follow
true.
the group and follow, you know what I mean?
It's easy though.
What's that?
Fall in line.
Oh yeah.
Or not.
Changing the trajectory.
Damn or be different. That's easy. That's easy to do. Just be
Stand
like
alone.
everybody else. Not for all, but for some. For most people, it is. Most people don't think for themselves.
Because you don't even get criticized for it. It's normal.
What to follow?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
you
easy.
don't
Don't
get
stand
criticized.
out. It's like, yeah, I'm with the crew, whatever.
You got a drum? Yeah, I'm right
Popularity over
too.
talent. Popularity over
Yeah, you
talent.
tell somebody you ain't.
You might not even be the part of the nigga in the crew, you just feel like you're part of something.
Right.
Right.
You don't got no say in the crew ain't listen to you.
My thing
You said.
has always been why blend in when I was born to stand out. My grandmother
Yeah.
has always told me that, and
That's
that's stuck in my mind.
Yeah, that shit was a ball. Stand out. That was like ad-libbing each other interview. This shit was hard. That's like ad-libbing y'all interview.
Look out for our new single dropping next week.
Yo.
She definitely added
Yo. That's hard. That's hard.
Who wrote it?
Yeah, you gotta get to the bottom.
Yeah, we all that shit.
Shad, you can know this.
Damn, I don't see that one.
Shad real heavy.
That-
Often.
Wait, y'all got aliens? Y'all don't say something, y'all?
I mean, sometimes you see how we get down. We do an intro sometimes. We fucking beefing. It's all love,
Finish
bro.
each other's sentence.
Yeah, we ain't got to do
But
that.
that's how we are. She can start it, I can finish it.
But I want to take what y'all just said. Why blend in when you can stand out along what he said. She is in Grandmeres. What is that?
Yeah, please start there. Cause I don't, is that
Because I feel like y'all body on. Who y'all is, where y'all came from.
is that a
Y'all
foreign
killed
language
that.
or something?
Grandmeres Touch is French.
It's French.
Okay. And so
Mhm.
I know more French than I know Spanish. And my grandmother, she passed away in 2004 when I was 14 years old. But up until
Rest in
that
peace,
time,
man.
thank you. Up until that time, she instilled so much in me. So I wanted to do something because without her, I wouldn't be doing the stuff that I do now. So it's French for grandma. So that's why I got. So
You know what? It sounds like that when you say it. That sounds so basic. It sounds basic, but the way it sounds like it's about to be some elaborate thing. Grandmeres Touch, grandma.
Hold on, I got
That is fire.
I don't know, but you kind of like throwing a little shot.
No, I think it's fire. I feel like it's very blatant. It's very blatant.
When I heard grand, I'm thinking big and it's like.
You feel me?
That's right.
And when she just said French, I'm assuming like my mind went straight to some Creole, like you like really got Louisiana like ties or some
She
shit.
wasn't blowing,
You
huh?
pulled it up? Y'all niggas talk that.
We believe you.
That don't mean grandma in French.
Luckily she verified. You can't.
No, I wasn't throwing shade. It just Grandmeres sound like it could be like he said it sound foreign, but when you say it grandma in French, it sounds like
No,
Yeah.
grandma. Oh, it's called grand. Oh.
Grandma's touch.
That shit hard, right?
So it's like the love and touch. I'm gonna give y'all that. I'm playing. I just interpreted my own.
She is just right here.
Right. Man gonna call us later like, yo, I got an idea. Grandma's double touch, niggas. You know what grandma touch you twice? What?
The nigga will call you with an idea for
Hell
somebody
yeah, I
else.
love this nigga. Yo, that's Mr. Call. He gonna call you and tell you what he think. I love that shit.
Great idea.
But,
That's fine. That's
So
fine.
I love that. I love that.
yeah, I wouldn't even expect him to be so quick. I thought he was really hit me with some like, that's still deep, but like I just thought that word,
Like she stole
That's
the word
fire.
from German and mixed it.
that shit
with the
fire.
word.
I like that. She is in.
She is incorporated.
I'm sorry, she is incorporated. I can't abbreviate.
City government.
Oh, when I say government name, every time I'm out niggas, telling people where they go to school. I can't do it right, yo, with these two niggas over there.
I feel like you're doing great today. I feel like you're doing great today, bud.
Y'all keep me on
honest.
that because that's how she introduced.
No, that's true.
That's
That's
true.
true. Wow, that's another topic I'm gonna add in that day. And that's it's a quick joint. It could go on.
I picked that one too. That was a thing on the load. I picked that. Kanye and Beyonce. But that's never coming right now.
Yo, these two niggas.
I said,
big,
well, I
man.
got a big ego, so
Oh, I got a big ego. Okay.
Man, we
I didn't
got
see
pause.
it.
Y'all gotta pause that.
I'm a
I already said I didn't see it.
Pause,
I'm an
yeah.
adult.
That's a song.
I'm a grown ass man,
The
dog.
song talking about dick.
Technically, he ain't like he ain't.
I'm on the personality.
It was the ego for me.
Worthy.
It was the ego.
Oh, I thought it was personality.
It's just a metaphor.
Nigga,
But go ahead.
man.
She is incorporated. Sometimes we go off tech, but we bring it back.
Yeah, she is. She is Incorporated Inc. She
Right.
is. What is she is?
Yeah.
She is how I got the name. So my Instagram name, because I've done a lot of different endeavors in my life, different avenues, different businesses. I just collaborated my nonprofit with what my Instagram name was, which is for the last couple of years, She is Leanna. And I always said She is Leanna because what you see on my page is what you get. And I'm a model, I'm a mother. I give to the youth. I'm just this person. So what you see on my Instagram is all of who I am. It's no other way around it. So I was telling Erin, I don't know what to name it. And she was like, just stick with the She Is. You're already authentically Leanna, so She Is ain't. But, she could be what? She could be beautiful, she could be strong, she could be broken, she could be challenging. She is all about who she is determined to be, so she is.
I like that. And speaking of, I seen the pictures, but all of y'all that was an amazing shade of beauty. And when I say it's
The melanin shoe?
yes, so many different girls, complexions, all
Sizes,
that.
looks, all that.
When I say beautiful, black is beautiful. I want it. Whatever, the picture was beautiful.
Right, no.
Thank you.
Women are beautiful as a whole. And
That was my vision that I brought together.
No, all women matter. We know, bud.
It's the ladies' man.
I be chilling.
You made sure. I said the picture was beautiful. All
Oh,
women.
the
All the shit.
All the shades of black, man.
Oh my God.
Where's the win? Where did you win?
No, yeah, you gotta
Cat.
stop this all something mad as shit.
I wasn't all mad at
I'm
shit.
talking about this
He
picture.
was saying all women. I'm talking about the women in the picture. And that picture is all different shades, all different shapes. What did I say?
It was an amazing picture.
That was
beautiful
That
photography.
was for Women's Month. March is Women's Month, so I wanted to do something, and with so much going on in the world with blacks and whites, bring y'all sisters together
Right.
of all different shades, and it came out exactly how I wanted to. It came out perfect.
Amazing.
It was white women in that picture.
No,
No, I didn't think so either.
very light to very chocolate.
Right.
But she is a mixed woman. So
No, I just-
Three of us in there are mixed, actually.
that's what I'm saying,
y'all had anything more than 50, Shad throw the picture away.
That's a good ratio too.
Oh, yeah, out of control. All right, so y'all both introduced your businesses. I will ask you specifically, what area does the nonprofits? Well, actually, no. I want before I get into that. Do you consider both of your businesses, your incorporations, different? Or do you feel like y'all services are very similar to what y'all get to people?
I think we're very similar, but some way or another different, because of the age range I deal with.
Okay. And what is your age range that you deal with?
12 to 20.
Okay.
And
Problem ages right there.
Very
I love
good.
it too, because that's like early,
it's
kids.
more stepping into adulthood.
They start young.
Yeah.
Yours age range is more
Mine is 8 to 18.
8 to 18. Okay, so you more so the babies.
Yes.
And I would say 18 to 20, y'all's kind of similar in range. You just
Yes.
start a little later, you start a little early.
But
So go ahead, man.
no, I mean I love it because the 8 you capturing the kids before they probably get exposed to something at a high level. And 12 is like most people know themselves but don't know how to express it or come into what
And
they're
for the
supposed
teen
to be.
moms, I put 12 because a lot of them are getting sexually active younger.
Yeah.
And even
Because I
on
know for me, I was young. So I can only imagine with the, social
Today's
media.
age.
even
and
on
everything
even on the
exposed
back
to.
end for real, if you think about the 18-year-olds and the 20-year-olds, that's still very impressionable. That's still
Yes,
an age
it
where
is.
they feel like in our community.
Still developing.
Right. For some reason though, we think in our community like when you turn 18, boom, I gotta get out on my own, get my own spot,
But
whatever.
that's the problem.
Because the movie telling us that you get the fuck out of the house.
Yeah,
That's how we get the show.
That's the movie study. 18, get the fuck out of my house. It's a hell of
The
a...
world with nothing.
No.
No
Word.
stability. I mean, I tell young girls because there's so many of them like, I want to move out, Miss Leanna. I want to get my own place. Like, honey, stay as long as you can at home and save your money, get your credit right.
Facts.
Utilize the time you have at home because when you out in this world and you trying to tackle credit and you gotta buy groceries and pay bills
Right.
and you that young, stay home.
And I see people real quick. I deal with daily. I deal with like people like who just bought a home, new homeowners, and I'm seeing like 23, 24-year-old white kids or other races of kids buy their homes. But that's because from that time they graduated high school, went to college, whatever, they still been living at home. They've been able to
on their parents' credit.
exactly help on their parents' health insurance, all of that stuff. They've been able to save their bread, stack up, whatever. Even when they start working full time, it's not a rush to get out on their own and do it themselves. And they buying a house at 23, 24. So that's something like that. Them 5 to 7 years worth of work and saving, that should make a difference.
But
That's
Most people
Yeah.
That's only if you have a home to stay home.
and I was saying
I have a piggyback question off you. Go ahead, man. You might ask me.
no, because it's perfect for them, but our community and our households are so broken. Like,
And,
who would want to stay in the house if Your parents getting high. I'm trying to do
No,
it.
you're right.
And I had a
So the
specific
size-
question to which, piggybacking off of Mason, before I ask y'all about your profit service and the programs you offer. You said, that's what you want to tell a kid, stay as long as you can. What do you say on the reverse side to the kid that might have had your type situation, your situation where what you're seeing at home ain't the greatest? You see your money going to the dealer that's coming in the crib. What do you say, what's the advice you give to that person that's like, needs to really get out of that situation? And they might not have the means to do so. Because I'm sure, I know that's what you deal with a lot of different young girls coming at you with different angles and different stories.
I mean, some of us don't, like, for me, it's no home to, I can't say I can go back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been on my own. Technically, I had a roommate when I was 16, 17. I lived with my brother and his wife for a little bit. After I had my son, like 3 months later, I was with a roommate, fresh 18, 17. So it's just like, it's no home to go back to. Like, I tell, like, friends and people around me who have their parents and stability and support, like, respect your parents, you know what I'm saying? Or, appreciate this, because, I mean, you can go back home. For me, I'm on the street, so we different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta just utilize it and muscle through it. You gotta figure out a plan. You gotta finish your way through some things to get where you're supposed to go. If you know you don't have that support to go back home, or you don't have that.
Right.
Some of us just don't have it. You just gotta figure it out and never look back.
And people be surprised how many kids are influenced by their friends. Because, coming up around here, you might be the one kid out the friend group that got both parents, but none of your friends don't, and they badmouth and shit mouth their parents all day, and you take that energy home. And before you know it, you trying to fight away from stuff, because you don't even realize what you got to value, because you're not around people that value that type of stuff. Yeah. So, starting with you, Erin, if you want to get into, what is your nonprofit service and programs that you offer?
So we service the Annapolis area. I do take kids from other areas, but all of my programming is done here in Annapolis. Like again, we start ages 18, and we help with critical life skills in areas such as health, education, and personal development. I just finished a videography program with the kids where I hired an expert. I got a grant from the city of Annapolis, hired an expert videographer, bought cameras and everything, and we did a 10-week program where they got to learn how to shoot videos, got to learn how to do photography, and I mean now they're out. They have their own. They started their own business, and so now they're out. That's what they do for their own job. And so now the next thing I'm doing is etiquette and manners for the girls, where they can learn how to communicate. They can learn about hygiene, and then they can even learn what table manners is when they go to a restaurant, how to order food off the menu. And also I do like hygiene. I also do outreach in the community, cleaning up the community. And also every month I do a vendors event where I have black businesses come, and it's no charge to them because I'm a nonprofit, any space that I get is free where they can come and just showcase and sell. And I started it when the pandemic started because a lot of black businesses weren't able to sell their products, and so I just wanted to create something so that way they could. And then another thing is that a lot of people kept telling me, Erin, we don't see black people downtown Annapolis. So I said, I'm going to bring black people downtown Annapolis. So I shut the streets down all in downtown Annapolis with help from the mayor's office and the police department. And that's what I'm going to do next month. It's the same thing for Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Shut it down.
Shut it down with the vendors and
shut the streets down. Like nobody can come like down there.
They let you do that?
They let me do that.
How like that?
They let
Hey, listen, it's safe to say that you
you have a kickball.
yeah, you been going to the wrong people for trying to get played.
You got caught like that.
And I know I see your pictures. I see you doing a lot of work with the mayor's office. So
Yes.
that's impressive. Obviously, you're doing planting the seeds and you're empowering young people around here, which is crazy because not a lot of people. I always say this every time I see what y'all doing. Young Mo Lloyd, all of y'all. I don't remember nobody my age when we was younger doing this type of shit that y'all be out here doing, especially like at the level y'all doing it and not being selfish with it, trying to incorporate other people and spread the knowledge. So yeah, I think that's impressive. So that same question, we'll go to you. Who do you feel like your profit services and what programs do you offer? What streets you shutting down? You got level up.
All of them. All of them.
Right.
Matter of fact, West Street, shut it down right now. I service teen mothers, their children, and I'm real big on women empowerment, which is any age range. In the Annapolis community, but right now I have a lot of stuff that's coming my way in the Baltimore area that I'm looking at. I'm ready to try to start housing. And I was at a bar, and long story short, ran into this guy whose mom passed away and the house is abandoned. The house is paid for. He's willing to give it to me to start as my first home. So now I need to go to Baltimore and connect with the mayor and try to see, and a couple other things I gotta do, but that's where I'm at now. I'm starting a house because I've been homeless twice with my kids, so that hits home for me.
Gotcha.
Definitely in the Annapolis community, I have individual families that I deal with and teens of things of that matter. And yeah, just helping these moms, because I know what it's like. I never forget the troubles I went through with my son. You know, catching the city bus in Annapolis with my son holstered on my chest. You know, just not having ways and figuring things out and just giving back. You know, I'm always just be blessed at heart. Just
damn, I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm proud of both.
Yeah, y'all amazing, man.
I remember I used to run into Leanna and we would talk and she was going through it, and just to see her now, like, you know.
Yeah, no, same here. I was working with her
Like-
when I used to work at DTLR, man. She was before she got pregnant. And to getting pregnant, to what I've been seeing you do, congratulations on the award you just got.
Thank you.
What was it? What was the name of that award again?
the county executive Michelle Obama Award.
Yes, congratulations
That's
on that. I seen that.
Thank you.
So yeah, everything that I've been, like I said, I watch both of y'all from afar. We all speak off camera, so you know what y'all been doing. I don't know too many women my age, older or younger, that's doing what I see y'all doing for young women and young boys too. Because it ain't like y'all just do women. I know you do young boys as
Yes.
well. So is there anything, before I move into different questions, is there anything that y'all want to tell a young mom, a young dad watching that want to get their kids in their program, or feel like how they can contact y'all, get with y'all to get involved with the things that y'all offer? Is there like something that they can come to? Is there like a program, or is it like a web page? Is it anything that the people could do to contact y'all?
I just always tell people, well, I'm not on social media right now because of Ramadan, but you know, they can email me. If you go to my Instagram at She Is Leanna or She Is Incorporated, the email's in there if someone wants to email me about an intake or a situation where they need help. And I just always tell people, and I leave them with this, no matter what we go through, we're always going to be at peace and never in pieces.
Okay. Ooh. No ad?
No ad.
I already said, listen, I don't know how much y'all choreographed today or not. I don't know what y'all say is coming next. The same question.
They can go on to my IG and my Facebook. It's the same thing, Grandmeres Touch _Inc. And they can inbox me. I'll send them an application to fill out, or they can email me at grandmerestouchinc@yahoo.com. And I'm always in Annapolis in the community, so I always have parents just stop in and just say, hey, you know, what are you doing next? What's the next program? I am enrolling kids now, starting from 8 to 18. It doesn't matter if they're a young girl or a young boy. I take both of them.
And tell me a quote.
What's the slogan?
What's the slogan?
You better tell Shirley.
Huh? But they don't give me a seat at the table, I bring my own chair.
What?
That's my motto.
Hey, don't take no
It's
for an
Shirley
answer.
Chisholm is my favorite person, so I always.
Shirley Chisholm is your favorite person?
She's my favorite person. Last year when I did one of the programs for Black History Month, a lot of kids don't know. They, oh, I love Rosa Parks. I love her. But Rosa Parks is the door, and you gotta sometimes bring the door, but bring the hinges too. And Shirley Chisholm was one of the hinges that put the door on. So I taught about Shirley Chisholm, and not only that, I was born on New Year's, and so I became fond of her because she passed away on my birthday. So ever since then, I've just been obsessed with her. I have all her books. I know everything about her. I can quote everything about her. And I mean, she was really active. And not only that, she was the first Black woman to run for president. So
Y'all ain't just getting the game, y'all still getting the game as
yes.
well. So you're a Capricorn.
I'm a Capricorn.
Okay.
You know that yours is December 31st.
I wanted to hear that out loud. You can answer that question. But alright, so moving forward to the next another question. We're gonna talk about the school system a little bit. Multiple parents on the set, parents to be on the set, and you deal with kids that's in the school system at that certain age. So my specific question is, how important is it for parents to know the policies and procedures of the school system? Like, because with remote learning going on, I think a lot of parents have been stuck not knowing what the hell is going on with their kids, and they almost relearning education themselves. So how important, some of the ladies or Chev, anybody that's parents, how important is it for parents to have a seat at the table at these board meetings, at the Board of Education?
I go by a slogan where I think it said, if I don't have a seat at the table, I bring my own chairs.
I wouldn't even say that color. That was good. But no, real talk though. Like everybody, I know. I was talking myself. My parents are a little different. My son's autistic, so he don't go to typical development school. So to me, the Board of Education is irrelevant to me. He still lives in North Carolina, but locally, everybody here. How do y'all feel about that, Erin? You can start with you if you like.
I think it's very important to know the policies and procedures that go on in the school system from the school board level, not even from the school level, because parents always get that parent-teacher conference to come in and then that's it. But I just want to use the example. I don't have any kids in the school system. I have nieces and nephews, but I'm an advocate. From the superintendent all down to the teachers, they know me by first name, because if I have a situation, if a parent comes to me, I'm on it. Like, I remember last year in February, I went to Annapolis High. I was going to speak to some girls, and not only that, I went to Annapolis High, so it was bittersweet for me to go back and be able to speak to them. But I seen a kid from the community out front, and I said, why are you outside? It's like 10 o'clock. School is not over. You know, yeah, even if you're a senior, it's not time for you to leave. He was like, oh, because I caught a marijuana charge in the community, you know, I can't, they put me out of school. I'm like, so because you caught a weed charge in the community, they're telling you you can't learn? So I went back home, I emailed Dr. Alado, he's the superintendent for Anne Arundel County Public Schools. I emailed the Office of Equity, Dr. Gillens, all of them, and I said, you know, gave them a scenario, what happened. And they was like, well, that's in our policy, if you could, well, send that over there to me, because I want to see that. I don't take anyone's word for anything that they say. I don't care who you are, I'm going to do my research. So when I did the research, I'm like, clearly this is not in the policy and the procedure. Yes, it is. That's not true. And just because it's not true.
Niggas got caught with weed in school. I smoked weed in school.
This is in the community. It's not even in the school.
Background checks?
Keep killing it. I know we all got questions. Yeah.
So when I emailed them back, I said, this is not in the, yes it is, yes it is. I said I had a lawyer, because I have a lot of lawyer friends that I know and that I'm cool with because of my job. But anyway, so I said I had her look it over, and she says the same thing. And I said, you know what? I've already contacted the principal, me, the lawyer, and the principal, and the parent. We're all going to have a meeting. Long story short, that's not what it said. And so when you have to know the policies and the procedure, even when it comes down to every month, the Board of Education, even virtually now, they hold something for parents to be able to come and speak if they have concerns, speak if they have questions. And I'm always there. Sometimes parents don't want to go, and I speak for them. I'll be the voice for you. I got something to say every time. Yes, they already called on me before they hit Miss Holland. You want to add anything? You want to add anything?
They probably like, how is she in the hall? They're like, what's your kid here?
Yeah, and they say that. Wait, you don't have a kid that goes here. I have nephews that go here, but even if I didn't have nephews, I came from this community, and I'm always going to be the person I needed growing up. So this is my purpose. This is my passion. So I'm not going to just let you tell me anything. Right. I'm not going to do it. So the more numbers that you come in, and the more parents that you have showing up caring, the more that they can't do whatever they want to, because that's, in so lack of better words, when I'm on these meetings and I'm on these Zooms, you have them saying like, we don't see no other parents in here that look like us. Why should we care? They don't even care. Right. So I always advocate. On my social media all the time, I said, listen, this Zoom meeting is going on, and it's public. You know, you can be able to go on there and say whatever you want. It's a public forum. And before the COVID started, you can go right down there to the Board of Education, and they do it every third Wednesday of the month. So,
you got a whole bunch of parents fighting like you. I'm sure there'll be a lot of change. God damn, not even a parent. There's a person fighting like you because you're the person that I needed growing up. She did bar all day. Y'all low-key ghostwriters.
So what do you think the biggest obstacle for parents not to go to these meetings? Like, what fear do they have to not attend these things?
They put the responsibility on the school.
But not only that, they don't understand, because a lot of these parents didn't graduate themselves. Right. And so they don't understand what's going on. So as part of the community, we need to help educate them and help them walk them through everything. And not only that, one thing also I stress too is, like, even when we go and we're having these parent-teacher conference and they bring something up about your kid, like, don't correct your kid in front of them, because then they go back and like, look at, you know, talk to your kid in private. Have that conversation at home. You don't need to, I'm going to whoop you when you get home, and I'm going to do this and do that. No, don't do that in front of them. You got to know how to act and know how to treat them and know how to talk when you go in and you're talking to them and you're dealing with people in the school system, because that's what they do.
And just to kind of piggyback on that, and to bring it back, absolutely, she killed it, but I'm going to just kind of follow up a little bit. To get back to your original question, it's very important for the parent to not only be involved, but like she said, go behind the scenes. A lot of times, even from a young age, a lot of parents think they don't, I know my child's teacher, or I know what the kid got on the report card. But at the same time, you got to take it a step further. You got to know the guidance counselor and how they got those teachers and what, you know what I mean, learning, what they call it, like you could be level 3 or
learning levels and stuff like that. All
of this stuff, it shapes you know what I mean, how that kid will graduate and what offers in terms of college and after school opportunities they have. So you got to, I would say, to answer your question, it's very important.
And I'll take back what I said, because that kind of sounded ignorant. Not that I have a kid that doesn't, I know that autistic kids are also kids that can go to regular school. I know kids personally in Annapolis that still go to regular Board of Education schools. So it does matter on all levels as well. I was just saying for myself individually.
Even with that though, the autistic side, like
You know,
the way they diagnose kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, the way they diagnose kids,
Yeah.
the doctors, like people just take their word for
You gotta
anything.
challenge that.
And it's crazy even when she said, like, literally, if I remember correctly, for our parents to get, now they might make a call and send some mail, but most of our parents to get notified of stuff, wouldn't they give us like a piece of paper to give it to your parents?
Give it to your parents.
Hey, yo, that's crazy.
And what we do, we sign the shit out.
right.
Giving them this paper.
I got Chunk to sign it.
So it's wild when you think about it on that level. They don't even care if it's like really thorough or not.
Right.
Honestly, most parents only care that you pass.
That's
And that's a good parent.
And I think that answers your other question of why they don't go to the meetings and stuff.
But
They
that
don't really care about the day to day.
But-
Touche, though, we gotta say that a lot of that goes into what we talked about before, like what Bud mentioned, like this generation, our generation, and that one coming behind us being more like woke in a sense of learning. You can't put trust in the school system or in the government or in.
They just like they regular people, and they do like regular people shit. Like my son did homeschool before like virtual learning and shit, and I had to put him back in public school, and every day I had to talk to this person who's telling me talk to this person who's telling me talk to the person I just talked to do the same shit, to send the same emails, and then they say, well, now he's in school, they say, well, we need these. They told me he needed a transcript to even start school, but I thought his mother sent them, so he's in school. Then they go, well, we still need these transcripts 3 months later, and he has to take these tests to be actually put in his right grade. And then they go, well, I just happened to call the guidance counselor one day, and he go, well, the last day for to sign up night school is tomorrow. It's $200. It's like, what if I didn't have $200 today?
Right.
And they bounce you around for 3
They
months.
always talk about chain of command and you need to start here and start here. But if I have a problem with you, I'm going all the way up here. And if I have to come down here, then that's what I do. Like, you know, when that happened at the school, you need to start with the principal. I'm starting with the superintendent, and then we're going to come on down. That's just how I operate. I always start at the top and then come down to the bottom, and then they'll let you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, I'm not starting with you.
And they do shit like, you'll email them, and they'll email you back at like 4:30. Right? Like,
It's like,
I emailed you at 8 o'clock.
Right.
But
You
how
know,
you email me back at
so that when you
4:45?
respond, they can say, well, the end of the school day, they already gone.
Right. That's why I like to call.
They
I
push
just keep calling.
it off, yeah.
And also another problem is parents work so much,
yes.
they don't even have
And I was
time
just ready to say, I was
go
just
to a
ready to
meeting.
say.
It's so
My
many
mother
different
works-
stories
my
that
mother-
apply to this. It's
My mother
definitely
literally,
real.
my mother literally worked 3 jobs. She woke up the oldest to wake up the youngest. When you leave, wake up your brother. When your brother leave, wake up your brother. And she already had dinner ready. If she had dinner, and it was like, I don't see my mother till 7, 8 o'clock at night. And we go to school 7 in the morning.
Right.
So it's like, that's the day to day.
It's impossible for her to throw her attention into the
Yeah,
school
and if
system.
you want your school
on top of
shoes
raising
outside,
kids.
yes.
It's hard.
And then it's also, they got too many kids in the class. Everybody's like, man, I'm just trying to get home for the day.
Yeah, it's difficult. And
But
it's
you know,
difficult
a lot
on
of
everybody. Parents.
It's just a lot of kids, and my son especially, because he has autism, and he's not, I don't want to say severe or not severe, but people don't notice until I tell them.
Right.
Like you said, my son and my daughter's primary physician, he's been having my kids since they were born,
Right.
same doctor, and he diagnosed my son.
Right.
And I took it and went to other places like Central Special, Kennedy Krieger, because I want to know if everyone is these psychologists and this and that. I need more than one opinion, because you're not going to label my black son as what y'all want him to be, which is ADHD, autistic, and crazy, and this and the third. No, my son has common sense. That's one. And I tell these, and this is what it goes back to the schoolroom. Like with these kids, some of them just need attention at home.
Right.
And when they go to school and the teachers are so overwhelmed, and I tell kids like, just be good to your teacher, They're just trying to help you, but you gotta think, at home, they don't eat every day.
Right.
So when and that's another thing, the school lunch kills me. Like, y'all can do better.
The system is the whole.
Y'all can be
The
better.
school system is
You know what I'm
so
saying?
It's
trash.
terrible.
It's bad,
All they
yo.
want is some attention and time.
In
And
America.
some of them really just want, just individual one-on-one in the classroom. My son, he does great on one-on-one. He's gotten a lot better. He was very physical in the beginning. He had issues with, and he was delayed. He didn't walk as soon as he should have, so they say, and he wasn't, his speech wasn't there. My son came a long way, but that is me being the parent and being on him.
Right.
I tell my son all the time, you are no different than anybody else. Like now he's like on YouTube looking at other kids with autism and asking me questions because now he's curious.
Right.
But it's all about how you go about your kid. I'm not piggybacking and buttering you like, oh, you autistic, so I'm gonna just let you have your way and do what you want. I don't do that. I don't believe in that. And it is kids who really grasp that. Like, it's kids, and that was Woods that, you know, are my son's friends, but you can tell they gravitate to me because of how my son is with me and what I do with them. And it's just like, you know, I can tell sometimes some of them just need an extra hug. You know what I mean?
The kids know what's up. Like
Kids feel
kids
good
know what's up. They don't know how to express it and say it all the time. But kids go off feeling.
You know, another difficult thing with school, sometimes that's the only place where kids have to have structure. You gotta get the class.
It's the only place some of them might be.
Yeah, like pull your work out, pull your math, and it's like some kids go home and have no structure. They don't even bring it.
And they have all these meetings saying the behavior is this and that or whatever. But if I was and I wanted to be a teacher at one point, but I was like, you know what, I got my own 2 kids. I don't know about this.
Right,
but you just don't know what kids are experiencing at home, and that's why I teach my kids, and I'm big on this, and my kids will tell you, I don't ever want you coming home from school judging what a person was wearing, what they didn't have, what they had to eat. Don't you ever do that, because you don't, because like, I was that kid. You know what I'm saying? My mother, we would go weeks without clean clothes. You know, they would make fun of me. I had long, pretty hair, but they would call me ugly, and I went through that. Don't you ever come home disrespecting or making fun of someone because you don't know what their mother and father had to give up to get to them that they didn't have at all.
The school system
I don't play that.
on that level.
Yes, they can.
Because they even, I know we started on the sense of the
And
parents.
kids are funny, you know what I mean? They like to joke and all that, but it's you gotta be humble
Because
and
there's a
hard.
fine line between having, like you said, joking and bullying. Like,
You damage a kid forever.
And I just think the whole system, right?
You need that reinforcement at home though, because that type of environment can make or break your self-esteem.
Absolutely.
Facts for life.
From your peers, because like even I know we talking on the other joint, even to low key with the teachers, you got one underpaid person trying to control and figure out what's going on in the lives of 25 to 26 kids on a daily. And obviously you a natural person. The teacher's gonna gravitate to some kids more than others. The easy smart kid that ain't giving you no trouble, I'm gonna want to deal with that one more than the one that I see is a problem. Maybe not even a problem, but perceived as something's off with that kid, something wrong. But do you have the time to dig into it and figure it out? Teaching a tough job. So the whole system of it is fucked up. So I think it do start with the parents. We got to be more hands-on from the meetings to showing up, all of that. And like you said, some parents work hard as a bitch in that time. But it's tough.
I've seen
There's no
teachers
answer
who
for that.
actually take their money out of their paychecks. Like, and this is just, you know, networking with people in different areas. But it was one lady, she was telling me like, you know, it's this one girl who just, and this is in a different area, but she takes her paychecks and buys this girl clothes. 2 small clothes, wintertime, like no winter shoes, no jackets, hair not done. Took her in the bathroom, in the bathroom of the school and washed her hair because it was so infested.
Even hygiene.
And you know what I mean? Like, I've seen some interviews.
Baltimore, that's some stories out there, motherfucker, on a daily, bro.
You know what's crazy? 'Cause sometimes the kids get so much negative stuff at home that they go to school and be good, and then the teacher reach out to the parent, and the parent's surprised. And it's just like, sometimes that's the only kid safe place.
My 4th grade teacher was like that.
They get their ass whooped at home so much they go to school and they don't show up. They amazing students.
My mother was like that with Chunk. Like Chunk was so bad. That, like his first parent-teacher conference, like the teacher was like just glowing about him. She was like, "Man, you got the wrong kid. That ain't my son."
Oh, she was saying good things about the girl. That's a motherfucker.
But that's what's crazy too, because kids, not saying, you know, your household, but kids escape home and go to school and be like, this is amazing. I got friends. You know, these people. Some people nice in school. Teachers just bring that out too.
To bring that whole conversation full circle.
They got work hand in hand.
That's the importance of having like resources like the ones that they offer, and also people coming from our communities that want to be teachers and work in the school system to have that type of compassion and understanding is very important.
Well, I think we spoke well on that system. I think we all agree that parents need to be more hands-on. Parents that do have the time to do it, and obviously young ladies like them that create incorporations
That village mentality.
to help
You
people.
need to get back to that village.
So speaking of the village mentality, I think that's a perfect transition to the next topic. I'm sure everybody here has heard about the killing of Makai Bryant, 16-year-old young woman in Ohio, who was shot by Officer Nicholas Reardon, who, if you watch the video, came on the scene that was called of a young girl that was being jumped or whatever. He pulls up, gets out the car, he says what he says. The young girl seems to be attacking another one with a knife. He kills her. Young ladies, as mothers, as parents, now in this video, several women and men standing around. We talk about.
I want to get their initial reaction. They both seen the video now, right? Y'all both saw it?
I did.
All right,
initial reaction. The first, how did it make you feel when you first saw it? Especially for you, because it was your first time seeing it, right?
Yeah, because I watched it on the news at work.
Initial thoughts, without trying to like go too deep into. How did you view that? See that?
I didn't like it. The fact that it's our people just always just standing around, just watching each other tear each other down. First and foremost, I don't think a lot of people are brought in homes where they know how to use their voice and not their hands. So that's one. I think our outreach for the black community and whites too, but especially our people is, I gotta show you better than I can tell you. So the stabbing, of course, I mean, anybody would believe in self-defense, but I think it's ways around it. I don't know the full story, so I'm only just speak on what I remember when I watched it at work, because like I said, I'm not on social media, so I haven't been reading up on it. But it's ways around how we deal with our people. And we wonder why, and that's where I get deep, because now they wonder why, when we are together, why they treat us like animals. When we out at these clubs and there's a whole bunch of blacks, why they outside waiting for us to see if we're going to act a fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wait for us to react like that. And for the officer, I feel like, okay, granted, the situation, 20 seconds, whatever, do you have to shoot her and kill her? Do you have to shoot her in a place where she could die? What could have caused her to die? You know what I mean? Like, it's ways around, it's solutions to everything. I just don't understand why they just think shooting is the #1 key thing. And, you know, I just think it's tragic. And it worries me for my son, especially with him being autistic, say hypothetically, and buddy, you probably think about this all the time. My son's in the
She on your ass for that one, man. No, man, she on your ass for that one.
She ain't on my ass.
We gonna go because Erin is
I
next.
always say.
Erin is next. We gonna get everybody gonna get their feels.
I
Continue.
always say, oh, buddy, your son,
My
your
son
son
is of
autistic.
age.
Wasn't
He's
understanding.
autistic, and I'll tell you, my son, he fidgets a lot. He fidgets. He's not really. If he's not comfortable, he twirls it. I just know my child. Say hypothetically, he's driving. He's in a car. He gets paranoid, pulls him over. He thinks my son's pulling a gun out. He's just trying to get his phone. Probably try to call his mother. My son's dead. I worry about that. You know, I worry about that. I do.
Real shit.
Mental health is a serious thing.
Right.
Overall, and you know, people are getting shot and killed, and sometimes it's not, oh, they may look like they're suspect, but maybe they just can't comprehend. They probably can't talk, they're deaf, they're blind, you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Especially in quick moments.
Yes.
Erin, you saw the video. What's your take on it from the girls involved, the officer? How you feel?
So my initial reaction when I heard about it, I didn't want to see it at first. Because like I was a victim of a violent crime where I was shot and almost killed and taking the shock trauma. So I don't like seeing stuff like that because I flash back to my own situation, and that was just 2 years ago. So at first I didn't want to see it, but I know like I'm always on all Zoom meetings and all that, so I knew I would be asked to like comment or what's your opinion and what's your thoughts. So when I saw it, I just cried at first, like, you know, here it is, 16 years old, and whatever the case may be, her life is gone for whatever reason it was. I don't want to speculate too much, say this person was wrong and that person is wrong, because in any situation, there's always 3 sides to a story. We can see videos, we can look at it, but we actually wasn't there, so I mean, I don't know. But I just think it's sad, and then, I mean, that's what's going on in the world today. It's like we, as even African Americans, we compare ourselves so much where that's where it stems from. And I don't know if anyone's ever read the Willie Lynch theory and all that. I feel like a lot of that is where it stems from. Oh, you're skinny and you're black, oh, talk about them. Oh, you're fat and you're black, talk about them. Like, I feel, and they know that we're so powerful together that they have to separate us. So I mean, it's just tragic that someone at 16 years old have lost their life and that another parent has to bury their kid, and you know, it just really saddens me, honestly.
Nate and Shaq?
No, I mean, like I said, I think both of their answers was like pretty much a bullseye without getting into.
I was trying to say bullshit.
No.
Like, I'm gonna say, you like what I said?
No, it was a bullseye. Like, that was like, I especially like what you said in terms of like first looking at it from an accountability standpoint. Like you said, all of those black people standing around watching these people fight, carrying on. We do have to look in the mirror first and say we have to, within ourselves, we have to learn better conflict resolution and how to manage those situations. So that's the first thing, to be accountable. Second thing though is, I do also like where you went with it in terms of like, again, without getting into a position of trying to judge, is he right or is he wrong, or what I would have did in that situation, my first reaction is like, fuck, like, police don't have enough training in how to de-escalate situations. Now, again, you mentioned your son, let's say your son really did have a weapon or something like that, but is not fully, or someone who is autistic or special needs or what have you, and they might have a weapon or whatever, be in possession of it, but they're not fully cognizant of what they're doing or what the situation is, to just come in shooting within 20 seconds. I feel like that's not proper. There has to be a better method than that. That's my initial.
I agree with you 100%.
Because why do you guys have body cameras where y'all can record what y'all saying? did you even really get up there besides you saying, sir, no, stop, get down, whatever? Did you even approach her like, I mean, she has a knife, I get it. But did you even try to figure out the situation before you just assumed to shoot?
Right, and every situation is so different. Like
It
I
is,
said,
and
this one got several videos, and I know May about to really get into it, but I just know the take on it is very. I agree with what all y'all said.
It's so hard.
May.
No, I feel like everything's case by case in this. Whenever a cop kills an unarmed human, it's just to me like a damn, what happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as always, you can't just always jump to the oh man, like you gotta kind of catch the context of it, because it's like this situation. When I look at it, it's like damn, I'm over her. Like it's just unfortunate on every side. You got adults standing around. You got, you know what I mean, a girl, you know, chasing a girl with a knife. Another girl could possibly be harmed, and the cop get there, and in 20 seconds, it's like save a life, kill somebody. Like it's just why do they have to make those decisions? But in other instances, not just this, it's like you got other times the cops make decisions without these type of issues and all these factors going on with it, and that's what gets us so off edge, because we've seen it so many times. It's just modern day lynching. Our trauma is being monetized every day on the news, movies, whatever. This is our trauma, and it's just like it's so many ways we got to deal with it. But then you flip the not even to change the subject. We talking about 2 girls here in Ohio, but then we got the situation up in D.C. with the girls in the,
Killing the guy
in the cab, and it's like
the Uber guy.
now seeing that, I'm like, I'm glad y'all got arrested. At least like that, the bare minimum. Getting arrested is like a win for you, just however, you know, the situation playing out.
You could be dead.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like,
You really look at the situations, and it's 2 totally different situations. But
but
I
it's still the same. They could be like, you killed this, whatever. I don't know the guy Creed or whatever.
Right.
And it's just like, damn, y'all made out, but y'all life still gonna be ruined because of the judicial system and everything. I thought it was I thought, but it is just that though. It's like getting arrested is like, whew, I made it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it from a life and death, hell yeah. So at least got a second.
They say not one nigga ever has said that.
Right, but I'm just saying,
If the comparison is death, you made it.
but that's how
though. But it go back to that conversation. How many times in our community have we heard that saying that if somebody hits you, you hit them back. If you can't beat them, you pick up. If you can't beat them, you pick up. So realistically,
Knock them out.
I know I have seen no fewer than 5 times. I've seen with my very eyes a fight in the neighborhood and somebody go in the house and grab a knife. You know, whether they was bluffing or they was gonna really use it or not. That's you.
In a non-joking
Just
manner,
imagine somebody come in. I mean, go ahead.
in a non-joking manner, before you go, mate, they did everything except for the one thing that we also told not to do in our community. Call the police.
And that's what I was saying.
They called the police.
And this has been.
And that's crazy because we shouldn't be taught that, because the police are really meant to help. Like truly, that's their intent. And I know it don't happen that way, but I'm just saying.
But not all of them like
No,
black.
I get it. I get it.
But this what
So were they wrong for calling the police?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, yo.
Especially when the victim is supposedly the one that did it.
When police come into our communities, they don't come to police. They come to back us up.
It's like Leanna said, they wait outside for us.
So it's a different mentality why people saying not to.
No, I get why, but in that situation they did. That's why I brought it up.
And like another thing is that, yeah, I think we all agree they need better training, right? But when they shoot people and they shoot to kill, they always fall back on that's what we're taught. So why can't they do these other things that they supposedly taught in the heat of the moment?
Save a life is what they take.
And that's just this incident. I mean, other incidences like you say there.
You could have shot her once.
Right.
Maybe she survived. I don't have
Give her a chance.
I don't have a problem with him shooting her because, man, she
The circumstance, right?
yeah, she could have very well took the other girl out, even a lose-lose, but 4 is just,
That's excessive.
We will agree. I will agree.
That's
It
acceptable.
was a trigger happy for me.
Yeah.
I got a question for the women. And this could be a hard one to question, because I think we know. No, go ahead, man. Go first.
But another thing, we got to stop thinking third parties understand our culture.
Say it one more time.
We got to stop thinking like he said, like in the neighborhood, you pick up something or you bust somebody in. The third party,
They want to understand our culture.
the person looking out the window got to be like, oh no, that's normal. That's just what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they gonna call the police or you know. We got to stop thinking that the things
Right.
we do in our communities is normal.
It's not normal. No, you're right.
No, I'm just saying.
No, it ain't normal at all.
We gotta expect
And they
that.
sending people to come protected that don't understand the shit at all.
it's
There
not
you go.
normal, but if you don't have a weapon, committing crimes are not in what you do.
No, I agree. But I'm just saying in certain instances, things we do is just not, you know what I mean, normal. Like,
Like even
And stop
even
expecting
though I
that person to understand.
Even though I didn't watch the video with the kid, with the lady thought she grabbed her tasers.
Oh, no.
I had an argument with somebody, and somebody was like, well, he was wrong for trying to like flee the scene. Like,
No.
and
Pick up a ketchup bottle
Like I
and say
said-
it's mustard 7 times and tell me you still think
But
it's mustard.
all over a traffic ticket, like why were you pulling for anything? Like my
To tase
thing
him
is
for
that-
running,
for
like-
even like that's something where you like, listen, let me go and let him go home because if he's willing to,
We got the car right here. We got the fucking.
We know where you live.
It's like legalizing weed.
like,
You would give a nigga a ticket these days because
We
you
be at your house by the time you get
Yeah.
here. We be there waiting for you.
I just think it's very sad.
It's lazy police work.
Like, it's taking a life to meet your quota. Like, at the end of the day, like, what's the real goal of, like, really getting a motherfucker that bad? Like, I get it's a
but
job.
that's the thing.
Expired
Also, why are you scared of me?
Oh, you know
Right?
why.
Like, no, yeah, I know why. But
You know
like,
why.
like, listen, like hypothetically speaking, not hypothetically, when they pull you over, they get your license, but they're gonna run your name. You may have no charge, you may do have charges. But for any of us in the room, we have nothing violent on our case file.
Right.
Why are you scared of me? Nothing in my history says I'm gonna kill
They
you.
call for backup before they even, you know what I mean, assess the
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
Man,
Since they already
I
got
think
one up, you got a gun on your
it's crazy,
head.
and I
Fuck, we
was-
need another nigga with one foot.
Like, nothing says he's gonna have a gun on his hip, but you're
you know what?
scared.
Just
call backup
just
already.
to be honest,
Everywhere.
I think truthfully, it's just crazy that this has been going on probably way longer than we know. Because of social media, we see more.
Yeah, it's the
You know what I'm saying?
the camera saved. Don't be thought the camera saved us, but it's really fucking our heads.
They used to do it to us with regular people, then they just got badges to make it seem right.
Like you said with the monetization of it. Because white people get killed by the police. Why we never see this shit?
Never.
Because
Because they want it to be like it's so bad for us. Like,
I'm gonna tell you, what have to be a black CNN?
It go-
And all day show shit. If you want to show shit like that,
Somebody, what's my man name on TV One?
Roland, what's his name? Roland Martin. Roland Martin.
Somebody call Roland
But
Martin.
you
man.
need a good
I got a thought on that though,
news
Joe.
reporter.
yeah, black CNN just show the shit like that all day today.
Bud
They just talking why.
Bud couldn't be out black ain't.
No, I come on at 1.
Oh.
I don't do the evening news. I do
The
the
very reason why, whenever this shit happened, whenever the George Floyds and these people get shot on, you always say, I don't even want to see the video. And just like she just said from her experience, she didn't want to see the tape. Because realistically, seeing that shit repetitively, it is traumatizing. And that shit creates almost like a fear factor. So I really feel like the media, they don't, when other races, white people get killed by police, they don't repeatedly show this shit because they don't want it to have that psychological impact.
And it don't go with the script.
They want them to think it's, you know what I mean, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, it don't match the American script.
It's crazy to like, I be like delivering like Amazon Flex when I go in like white neighborhoods. I'm more uncomfortable than going in hoods.
Right.
Like, I was just in Baltimore City in the hood. I feel way more comfortable than going in these places, in these white neighborhoods dropping off.
And that's why we gotta get out this mentality of moving your kids out and thinking you putting them in a better position when you kinda not. Some of them private schools, they're the odd person out. Your hair's this, you're this and that. And it's like, kids struggle. If you want to press going to a private school with the best outlook of life, then fucking in the public
It's just
school.
switching safety threats. That's how I look at it.
He went to private school for 4 years.
That
He
nigga
emotionally fucked up.
I'm not emotionally fucked up. I'm very in tune. I think I understand.
He's his own therapist,
He's
thank
on
you.
therapist.
I say so myself.
Yeah, I understand both sides of the spectrum.
The nigga don't cry, he smile on the inside.
Like,
But
maybe not.
overall,
His favorite song is Break Up
Yeah,
Song.
but-
No, really though. Niggas said breakup songs make him happy.
No, they're beautifully written songs.
Name one.
Oh, like a breakup song is not supposed to make you happy?
The X Factor, like you love that.
Oh, fucking right. That's just fire. It's the notes.
Damn, buddy, you are, man.
But you know what's crazy though?
I'm not
Like, what is it called? The
Hey, that's how I always say. Nigga just killed a baby, just came home. That's a real good nigga, man. Go ahead, man.
No, I'm just saying, like, the Capitol building, one person got shot in that old building, extravaganza.
The Capitol,
Up in
the
DC.
Trump shit?
Yeah, only one person got shot. And
Only one person got shot?
Only one person got shot and killed. The rest was cops. Not saying like they got trampled or all that, but it's like, from a simple traffic stop, you got 7 cops and one black person that end up dead. It's like, how? How does that happen? And that's the question they need to answer. How does serving a warrant?
I think.
How does like all this stuff?
I can honestly, back to your point though, as you said, a thing in our community where we don't call the police. I can honestly say I wouldn't, unless there is like a truly violent something happened, and then I'll probably try to intervene. But I can't see me calling the police on another black
I think it's really,
First thing you gonna say, you proless.
not even just for that though, but like shit like,
If something happens,
if something happened, yeah, like you can't
I'm the one who called you.
even little dumb shit like a noise complaint or stuff, you've been and called the police because you want, perfect example, the Eastport, on Juneteenth last year, people was talking about they lighting fireworks all in the middle of the night, this, that, and the third. I'm calling the police. I'm like, bro, that's dangerous. Like, you could very well, like, fuck it, it's firecrackers. You're over in a week. Like, what the fuck? Like,
no, it is.
A week is a long ass time though.
I thought about that nigga Cameron said the serial killer the next time he
I ain't gonna tell him. I'ma just move. And that's the black community mentality though. That's real shit. I'm telling you, everybody I know in this building, get the fuck out of here.
But it's so
But I ain't going to cops.
You gotta hold people life for raw. Like, police my best friend. Like,
It's more rare civilian blacks than the hot. That's the thing. You know the fucking thing? I'm happy you said that.
Nigga will see the blood dripping from his door. But what the fuck they going in there?
I'm happy you said that shit, man. Because that's how cops look at it. Cops look at it as more hustle than it is for blacks. That's why we threats.
Yo, I seen, this is like off topic, but it's a nigga in Harlem, he had a tiger in his apartment for 3 years. Ain't nobody
all the beats he got delivered there, ain't no.
Yo, the nigga worked at like
The whole tiger.
I wanna say the nigga worked at like the grocery
Yeah, like a
store.
wildcat, yo. He ain't
No, look this shit up. Even Jim Jones posted it, like niggas in Harlem knew the tiger. The niggas knew the tiger.
Hey, yo, black people will take me.
Look it up, look how you
I
prepare
believe it.
Look it up. Right?
Yeah, you look up Grandmeres Touch, go ahead and look up Tiger and Hall.
Only reason
he need his ass whooped.
the only reason the police came is that the tiger did some tiger shit.
Right.
In the apartment.
Right.
That's
So he had a
hilarious.
tiger for 3 years.
Nobody said nothing.
And nobody called the police. Like, this thing got a tiger on the fifth floor.
Black Joe Exotic.
Oh yeah. Oh Ming, that's the tiger name. Ming.
Maine the Tiger?
Ming.
How you even, like, yo, clear the building when we got all this tiger
Me?
stuff.
That bitch was
I think he did like. I think he did like.
They wasn't feeding that nigga. That's why he did some tiger shit.
He trying to attack another animal that yo had and some shit like that. Some tiger shit.
Tiger's tiger shit.
He tiger shit.
All right,
That's
listen.
the jungle phase.
All right, let's. I was gonna ask y'all one more question about that, but I think we wrapped it up well. I don't think it's really necessary to touch on it more. I think everybody spoke on it more. How they felt about it, their perspective. So moving forward, we wrap up all our shows with "This is how we give it up." Everybody chooses a person or whatever you see as somebody who don't get enough credit, enough props, and you tell us why you giving it up to that person. So if you are ready, we normally give the ladies an option if y'all want to start with y'all, or we can start with the first person to your right. How y'all want to do it? Y'all want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, who you giving it up to?
I'm gonna give it up to Miss Odessa.
Miss Akama?
Yes.
Oh yeah, talk your shit.
Yes.
Go for it.
I love her. We talk every day. She's the reason why, like, I'm so educated on the school system. She's the reason why,
She's
I know everything. When she's the reason why I even came down and started going to the board meetings and everything. And when I don't know something, she's on my phone, like, our gossip is like, Erin, did you see what happened at the school board? Did you miss that?
You
I'm
ain't
like,
have a voice like that.
She hit the too.
So, like, I have to give it up for her. I mean, and it's not even from a school board level. It's like she calls me every day, like, because she knows I'm connected with everyone in the community. I mean, I grew up in Newtown, but I go to Rivalwood, Eastport, Woods, all of that. She was like, Erin, I got eggs. Every day she goes to giveaways and has Pampers and everything. So, like, I really do just appreciate her. Like, absolutely, Miss Odessa.
I ain't gonna lie. We didn't have an Erin yet. We had Miss Odessa. She's the reason why my mother let me go to the ball for the first time. I said Miss Odessa was taking.
Speaking of
Real
Miss
shit.
Odessa, right?
Third grade.
She used to take us on college tour trips in high school.
And up to the Apollo.
Yo,
Let me.
I seen Miss Odessa, yo, there's no lie. I seen her like 3 weeks ago in town. She pulled up on me like, Maurice, what grade you doing in? I said, Miss Odessa ain't got no kids, but I got a laptop if you need it. And she just kept moving, like, I gotta go. She like, what? I said,
Always on the move.
I ain't got no kids. She like, well, I got a laptop for her if she need one.
Yes,
I
that's
just
her.
told you.
See that woman anywhere. It's always smiling.
Go ahead, once I get his laptop.
And she lets me use, she has a whole school bus, so anytime I'm
Yeah,
taking a
she
lot
got
of
a
kids,
She got a bus?
Yeah, she got a bus.
School bus. She
She got a
let
bus
me
going
use
up
the
front.
school bus
You
out
a
in
grown.
the yard.
No, Miss
Yes,
Odessa
Miss
always.
Odessa with
been
it.
a girl.
Yeah.
Like, Erin, who got shot
She
that one?
always.
Yeah, she come in. What's going on down 20? What's going on down Route? Who got shot? Who got shot?
I can be honest.
Carry into the street.
I didn't even know the HBCU was
And
until she took us on that college trip. She took us all the way down the East Coast, down to Florida. We stopped at every.
She had a whole bus.
Oh, bro, I was with somebody.
I don't know what old that is. She
And
was
at that time, she still working.
She on payroll.
Yeah, she already, she definitely.
But she literally got all of us. She took us down to each state to the HBCUs, Hampton,
Oh, man.
all the way down there. Some school in North Carolina. That's how all of them ended up going to Daytona Beach. Bethune-Cookman. She literally, we was all on the same bus and just getting off. It was really like Spike. She must have got some inspiration from
Yo, she yo.
That's love.
She got that Spike information. Shout out Miss Odessa.
Yeah, you can literally be like, you can be the first how we give it up recipient that everybody can literally give it up to. Everybody might have individual things if y'all still want to do it, but the whole Unbiased podcast giving it up to Miss Odessa.
Shout out to Miss Odessa.
Yes.
Because you went through I don't know how many generations, but you still doing it.
Yes,
That's
still doing
And
it.
still take care, had her own kids.
You go.
Got them through school and got them to college. And
Strong women.
shout out to Miss
Shout out
Odessa.
to Miss
Yes.
Odessa.
Yeah.
You want to go next? Or you want me to send it to one of the guys first? You got that?
It doesn't matter.
If you ready, go.
I'm gonna give mine to Mr. Dillard at Georgetown East, the principal.
Oh no,
Shout out.
break them down to him.
Mr. Dillard is like the the Barack Obama of the community. Sorry. No, 'cause he is married. He is married. He's involved with the kids, the principal, he's great. Seeing a black man as a principal, just doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's involved and he really cares about the kids' well-being, and he's really been like the homie since like he has signed. He's worked with my son very well, so and he's a frat brother too. He's really involved with the community, always asking like, hey Miss Braun, if you need help, congrats on your awards, you know, if you need anything, call. So I'll give that to him because he is a great guy, great mission, and he just does his job very well. So for Mr. Dillard.
Shout out to Mr. Dillard.
Shout out to everything. We were just talking about the importance of
The
having.
education system. So those
Yeah.
people that is actually putting in the work and helping the community, we know y'all exist too. It just needs more.
Especially black
Shout out to
men.
Most
Black men are very, very rare in them.
And that school.
Is this new to me or it's been like a spike in black principals? I've been seeing a lot of black principals in Dallas.
I mean, I had a
Maybe this is what I've been seeing.
Lillard.
You know what? My son do have
I've
black
been seeing black principals everywhere, men and women. Maybe it's always been that way. I don't know. I've just been seeing it a lot more lately. Every time I see these like different Zooms and different shit seen spread on the internet, it's like black principals. At least a black assistant.
You know, is he from, like, is he locally or? Is he,
I can't remember.
either way.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah.
Shout
Black
out
man in the
to
school system.
Helping out kids, especially kids like
The
Zion.
principal,
Yeah,
okay?
Sure.
Loving it.
Anybody that's giving their time and efforts to kids in the community is a winner in my
Hey,
eyes.
what the fuck my man Mr. Trinidad?
Oh, Mr. China!
I never go. Everybody cut.
Yeah, Mr. John.
I think we gave it up to Mr. Trotline before.
No, we talked about it in the Brewmasters one day.
Oh, okay, I thought we gave it up to him. Who want to go next? Chef, me?
I go first. No, like, and I was gonna say this last week for real, but the guest made me a little bit nervous, so that's a different story. But it's true.
You go.
No, shit. I want to because Aaron Donald, the NFL.
Oh, he beat that.
No, this is the thing though, right? From a standpoint, like when a black person or an athlete specifically get accused of something or get charged with something, they'll beat you up. As long as the case is pending, it'll be all over the news.
Like he's guilty already.
Like he's already guilty. But when it comes out that it's proven that this person was innocent, try to get set up,
Goes nowhere.
you don't really hear about
Wanna
it
hear.
quite as much, right?
He wanted it.
Talk shit about it.
No, I'm just saying, I want to let that man know that, you know, we acknowledge that his innocence and that the whole situation. Go ahead.
If you don't mind, can you elaborate?
So basically, and make a long story short, it was an NFL player who, he was out at a club and he was accused of assaulting another man. This man came out, it was a fight, the man got beat bad, and he came out and he accused the NFL player of leading the attack. When the whole time, that individual, he was the aggressor, and he got dealt with accordingly, and the whole time the NFL player never laid hands on him. In fact, he was breaking the fight up. So it came out that it was evident that it was a money play. He was trying to extort him or trying to, you know what I mean? To get some
Get
money
the
out
ass
of him.
beat. Oh, Aaron Donald, man, that nigga did it.
But at the same time, it makes you also wonder how many times other athletes get accused of something and we just assume guilt.
He got hit so hard he thought it was the D lineman.
Shit, fucking him up.
No, but that's
why I'm giving up to Kevin Durant for treating the media just how
Treat
it's supposed to be
him
treated.
accordingly, right?
Right.
so you going?
Now we transition right into it. Like,
Go right to it.
Yeah, because
You as well.
that's it. That's all I really had to say.
This nigga crazy.
No, let me go, right?
All right, nigga.
So-
you know,
No, this ain't no joke.
Yeah, Google yours.
No, I ain't know his name. So I sent it to Jones yesterday. So when we was out at the field watching the game, somebody was telling me about this one-armed basketball player that played in youth. And I looked it up and I sat there for about 30 minutes. And he, to lose an arm or born with one arm and be that dominant in AAU, his name is Hansel Emmanuel. And
I've seen the clips.
That's a hard ass name.
Yeah, he got to be bound to make it, right?
You like the name?
And
Hanson Emmanuel? Yeah, it sounds very like he's a king or something. Like Game of Thrones.
Ain't like prostate arms and shit.
that's how he's better with one arm than I am with two.
Right.
Than you are with two.
Nah,
He
he-
probably can.
Yesterday. Yesterday.
He probably can. No, he probably can. And
Something's wrong.
And
He ain't called me in, called me out.
but no, the inspiration behind him is he dominates a sport in which he dominates the sports in which most people need two arms.
Yeah.
So he grew up wanting to play basketball. He's playing that shit at a
At a high
very, very high level. And
And
if he was to make it, I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, he got the talent, just got to stay consistent. One thing, a fun fact about kids like that, kids that are born with like one limb, yo, that one arm is so fucking strong.
Bro.
That nigga is probably like,
He is
super special.
And it's not even joking. He's grabbing rebounds, doing a crossover,
No, it's
throwing oops, shooting threes,
He fire.
layups,
He
dunks,
fire.
and defending. I'm like, nah.
He fired.
But shout out to Shorty.
Yeah,
He's 17, only 17.
Yeah, shout
Shout
out.
out to
Shout out
Shorty.
to-
I hope that man get a full scholarship somewhere and continue to keep following his dreams. I know he's showing his highlights now and they give him his props, but then when they get down to the politics and business, nobody really
that's what I
push
mean,
out.
yeah.
Nobody really give him a look.
If
somebody-
So, I hope he
If
get that.
they did build him a prosthetic arm though, just so like for shit like spacing and shit, would people consider that like an unfair advantage?
Yes.
He don't need this shit.
If he go out there bitch killing somebody, he's gonna say that's an unfair advantage. Unless he weak. If he weak and he just bare minimum, ain't nobody gonna care.
Right.
If he dominant, you know this nigga got an arm, and if you put that bitch on you, you ain't moving, he's ain't going for that.
Man, we step
Big
off
niggas.
nigga.
Oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Not even just
You can
joking.
go.
Set the clip with the bottom of the glove and shit.
But I'm last. Would you really give it up, Katie?
Yeah.
Alright. I am going to give it up to these young ladies that I met who are the owners of Grandmeres Touch and Shears Incorporated. I'm giving it up to y'all too. Like I do
The ladies' man.
All non-profits matter, bud.
All non-profits matter, but today we focusing on this. And, no, two young women. I feel like we might as well stay in that theme. Y'all gave it up to an educator. You gave it up to Miss Odessa. You gave it up to somebody that's inspiring people that probably don't feel like it's hope. A young kid with a special need. You gave it up to somebody that be the case, and most people that end up got something pending on their head is fucking done. I ain't gonna really piggyback off yours, but everybody else going to the moon.
No, KD is amazing. Stop letting these people create the
Yeah, but KD definitely is right for standing up to the kid.
That really is a.
No, he is right for standing up to the kid.
Like
He is.
people speaking for him.
I enjoy yours too. But either way, my whole purpose of what I'm saying is people that's out here supporting and helping people that they don't have to. Everybody got their life of their fucking own. And you don't have to put your time and your money and your effort into people. You don't have to do that shit at all. But because y'all came up in that situation, y'all felt the need to do that shit. Almost like you had to. Y'all would be beating yourself up if you didn't. So like most people get away from this bitch and be like, yeah, I'm gonna come back and be like, fuck that shit. Not going back there to be unappreciated. Have people telling me I'm doing this for no reason. Have people, you know how the streets talk.
Right.
It's for everybody that's building you up like me, it's people saying they ain't really doing shit. They ain't really doing this and that. So I will let you know that y'all appreciate it. If y'all kids
But
ain't
what I
something
love
y'all
about
about.
us the most is that it's always genuine.
Yeah.
People do a lot of things for recognition and clout and this and that. It's just really just in our hearts. And I tell people all the time, me and Erin became best friends in this journey. She already had her nonprofit and I was up and coming, so holding each other accountable and just doing what we genuinely love to do, and we're just smelling our flowers while we're here. And you know, what we plant in the community and what we plant into people and to others, they'll be able to harvest that later. So I'm just thinking.
Oh, well, I'm gonna use that and go into
Metaphor's
the.
been fire.
Y'all been killing it all night.
Top 3 metaphors.
I used to write poetry.
I'm going right back in my bag. I ain't letting this shit go down.
I think that's Instagram captured out
I told you
there.
that. We definitely gonna be
That
posting
album
that.
coming next week. Don't be surprised.
But
What we last words?
yeah, final words. I'll go first. My final words is, man, plant seeds that grow.
Oh, he trying to pick me bad.
Oh,
I
it's okay,
swear.
buddy.
I'm ready to throw something at this nigga. That's what
That's the truth. That's what they doing. They planting seeds that grow. That's a quote.
But she just
She
said
said that. She literally just said that.
Yeah,
She said plant seeds that grow.
I said we will plant seeds now, and what we harvest, everyone will see later.
Or
You just changed harvest and grow.
so
Weak
when they
ass.
harvest. I'm sticking with my shit, man. Continue to plant seeds that grow. I'm piggybacking off the ladies, man. Reach one, teach one. Who next?
What you got? You want me to go?
I might need a ghost spot.
T-Bone finishes. So we not there, go. He finishes. This is
I'm gonna say,
What you guys say for today?
No, let him finish. You got to find words.
I'm gonna say, don't be afraid to tell your story. You don't know how many lives you can save with it. That's very important.
Y'all, I don't want to date, boy.
I'm on to y'all.
That inspiration
Erin,
comes
final
from
words?
I'm
Never
gonna say
heard niggas
when
talk like this.
We got these entrepreneurs here. They motivate us, man.
my last words would be if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring your own chair.
Keep talking your
That's
shit.
definitely my Instagram caption.
Man.
I'm gonna give you credit though.
We was just talking about this last week. A petty nigga will go get it from Shirley and put it on.
You don't get a credit.
Yeah.
You don't get a credit.
Nigga ain't never run a Shirley Chisholm book. So I didn't heard it from
I didn't
Shirley.
even heard her name until today.
I ain't even Google that. It was too many.
Oh man, y'all gotta look at Shirley Chisholm.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Listen, respectfully. Leanna, final words.
Because you come from dirt, they expect you to be dirt, but they never give me credit, so I take cash instead.
Yo, who be writing your ball?
Was that from Shirley Chisholm too?
No, that was all me.
That was from the book of poetry.
That album that's coming out. These niggas just keep hitting us with track 3s, track 8, one-liners and shit.
Sorry for the wait.
Hey,
Sorry for the wait.
we see you too.
Wait is over.
But no, that's beautiful. All right, Shad, you
Damn, I don't.
You should have went first, nigga. You're not even dropping bars all day.
Oh, listen, I might gotta change my shit.
Right. In the words of the great prophet Rick Ross, we shining when this bitch dark.
I think you say every day we house. You better put all return right
I'm shining with this bitch, dog.
We play a we say, yeah, it's not a movie, but we play a big part of something. I need a quote. I don't know, guys.
Hey, listen, I get it.
In the back of Maytag music.
Right.
But no, going to Ross is the right person to go to.
I had
Too
to.
flamboyant at
What I say earlier, buddy, no love, only cry when babies die.
Yeah, too.
That's what I say.
You know what's wrong.
Y'all got bright futures. What do you say? Y'all your future bright.
Smart. All right, Jones. You know how you do.
As always, being real, staying true to yourself.
Unbiased Podcast, episode 21. Woman's Work. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
That's right.
What